Well, here we are. We've built 6 LandCruisers. We took them around Queensland. We got lots and lots and lots of feedback forms from Rural Fire Brigade volunteers and Rural Fire Service staff. Thank you very much for that. And what that's resulted in is the 7th LandCruiser, or the upgrade, LandCruiser 2.0. Quick video to take you around the feedback we've got, what we did, what it looks like now, and then at the end of this process we are going to write to the Chief Officer of the Rural Fire Service Queensland, Deputy Commissioner Mike Bossing, and we're going to ask him to put Toyota LandCruisers on fleet, so Rural Fire Brigades will have a choice between a Toyota LandCruiser or a Ford Ranger. We're also going to write to the Commissioner of QFS, Greg Leach. So gentlemen, letters coming your way in the not too distant future. Let's have a quick look around the vehicle. Front of the vehicle, no real changes apart from clear, highly identified tow points on the front of the vehicle. That came from feedback from veteran Rural Fire Brigade in the Gympie area. Thank you very much, Kay Gibson and your brigade. The new Ford Rangers have really well identified tow points, and so now this vehicle does as well. Driver's side of the vehicle, changes that are made here. The latches on the gull wing doors were not closing properly. That came down to the gull wing doors were flexing a little bit too much. You'll see now that they have been strengthened. You'll also see that inside the lockers, the partitions have been hollowed out to reduce weight. Behind the driver's side door has been added an extra RFBAQ holder, so the vehicle now has 2. That feedback came from both truck and non-truck brigades from across the whole state. So one of the things that we now know Rural Fire Brigades like is lots of RFBAQs on a vehicle. Above the tyres, we also have the tyre pressure, which is clearly seen, and that was something that was requested by a number of different people giving feedback to the vehicle. Back into the vehicle, a few changes have been made here. Let's start from the top and work our way down. One piece of feedback we received was that the water level indicator at night produced too much light, and that light impaired the crew deck camera. So the water level indicator now does not switch on all the time the vehicle is switched on. The water level indicator on the rear of the tank comes on when you turn your pump ignition on. Other changes that have been made on the back of the vehicle, the primer for the pump has been turned upside down, and that was from feedback from Rural Fire Service staff in Southwestern region, said that you'll scuff your knuckles, so we've turned that upside down. That was a good pickup, thank you very much. The other thing is the reversing camera has now been built into the tray to make it less exposed. The pump is still in the same place, but the pump now has a guard around it. Thank you very much for that feedback. Also, the 550 litre tank that is built into the chassis of the vehicle, which gives us, that low centre of gravity and a huge amount of storage space, has been slightly modified in its design, and you'll see that at the rear of the cab that there is less of the tank visible, and there's also been extra ribbing put in there. So we've had no problems with any of the 6 tanks put out there, but QuickCorp have done some more engineering work, have rotor moulded a new design which they believe is even better than their previous design. So that's the back of the vehicle, no significant changes there, again minor improvements based on brigade feedback. Passenger side of the vehicle, again the locker latches and the locker doors have been strengthened up. There has been added more ventilation points, so when in your wet locker or in your whole locker now that it's been drilled out, there's better ventilation, so when the vehicle is standing. Also above the chainsaw sharpening and the chainsaw holding tray, there is a now compartment that uses that space effectively, where you can put your chainsaw sharpening tool, your chaps, your bits and pieces you need in there as well. They're really the only changes that have been made on the passenger side of the vehicle. So inside the cab, there's been a number of different changes made in response to feedback from Rural Fire Brigades and Rural Fire Service paid staff. One of them is the screen for the 2 cameras in the rear, the reversing camera and the crew deck camera, that it was too glary, so we put a surround around it. Another piece of feedback was that with the fire curtains, and also using the vehicle as a fire truck, at night there wasn't enough light inside the cab. So in addition to the inside light, which comes on when you open your door, there's been some LEDs put in. There's been also a directional map light put in as well. So that brightens the whole thing up nicely. Thank you everybody for your feedback. Another change that's been made in here is you have two water level indicators on the vehicle. You have one which we've covered at the back of the vehicle out near where the pump set is. There's another one inside the cab as well. That has an on-off switch behind the driver's side seat. Other changes that have been made inside the vehicle is that the fire extinguisher has been taken out of the cab in the back and put behind the passenger side seat, so it's no longer near the chainsaw. So there you go. In September 2019, the RFBAQ elected reps across Queensland came together and they said, let's go and build a purpose-built rural fire brigade light attack designed by brigades for brigades. We found out what they wanted, we generated a tender, the tender was fulfilled, we took 6 of them around the state, we got hundreds and hundreds of feedback forms, and this is what we've ended up with, all with no government money, and now 8 rural fire brigades that currently don't have a fire truck have one. 550 litres, low centre of gravity, 4.2 GVM upgrade on a V8 Toyota LandCruiser. We really think it's a good vehicle, and we hope it's added onto fleet and brigades have choice. Everybody, thanks very much for participating.